Now, most families have rules that we're expected to follow, but the royal families of our world have strict rules that must be followed. These are not guidelines, but more like a family law. These are the things that keep the family looking proper to those looking at it from the outside. Some of these rules are as old as the families themselves, and some are even older. To remain a member of the royal family, here are 10 rules that all royal family members must follow. But before we begin, make sure you hit that subscribe button to get notified every day for more amazing content. And with this being said, let's begin. Number 10, the correct way to cross your legs. Now, it may be hard to imagine living in a world where rules and regulations have to be adhered to quite as strict as they do in a royal family, but for them, it's completely normal. There is even a right way and a wrong way for a member of the royal family to sit. Believe it or not, there's a method to the royal madness though. The reason that whenever you see a female member of the royal family on television or in pictures, you will notice that there's a similarity in the way that they sit. In order to keep good posture and poise when sitting for an extended period of time, keep your feet together on one side. This manner of sitting has more been recently labeled as the Duchess slant, but can be seen in pictures that even outdate Kate. Princess Diana was also pictured sitting this way, showing us that this is more of the royal rule of etiquette than just a preferred sitting style. Sitting with both heels on the ground and your legs slanted is one version, but you can also cross your ankles or leave your legs in the middle. Remember to always keep those knees and ankles together though. This stops any camera seeing up your skirt. Number 9, never play Monopoly. Yes, that's right, folks. The royal family are not allowed to play the innocent children's board game, Monopoly. We all remember playing this beloved family game at some point in our lives, and the board game where players roll 2 6-sided dice to move around the game board, buying and trading properties, and then developing those properties with houses or hotels. Now, the players collect rent from their opponents, and the goal of the game is to drive other players to bankruptcy, and also to avoid going bankrupt yourself. So basically, you guys know the rundown of Monopoly. It's all about power, properties, money, and amassed wealth. You would think that this was the perfect game for the royals, but you'd be wrong. Back in 2008, Prince Andrew, Duke of York, who is Prince Charles's brother and Queen Elizabeth's third child, was making a public appearance when he was gifted the board game to mark his visit. His reply was that they are not allowed to play that particular game at home as it gets too vicious. This shows that even the ripe old age of 48 and being prince to a country doesn't mean that he is not bound by the same rules that bind all royal family members. Number 8, the royal may never be addressed by anything other than their name. Now, the royal family is about as formal as it gets. When it comes to strict etiquette, training, and rules, these guys are started at birth and are given no choice but to live this way. That is if they want to have a chance at sitting on the throne one day. Then again, ruling an entire nation is no easy task, and so they need this training and discipline if they hope to become a respected leader one day. Though there are many ways that they keep the strong facade that earns them respect across the whole globe, one of these strict rules has to do with what they call one another. Most families have pet names or nicknames, and so you might expect the royal family to be no different. Well, they really do not have anything of the sort. This is a definitive rule that all royal family members must follow. They cannot be addressed by any other names that sound informal. Even the Duchess of Cambridge is not allowed to be called Kate, as her actual given name is Catherine. It sounds extreme, but it's true. Number 7, they cannot vote. Some of the rules that the royal family have to follow are based on ancient traditions, while others are newer and really serve a purpose and make sense. Number 7 on our list of the top 10 rules that all royal family members must follow is the fact that they cannot vote. They are simply not allowed to. Now, this does in some ways make sense, but then there are other ways in which it doesn't make really any sense at all. So on one hand, the royal family all live in the UK, where they are governed by the laws of the land. On the other hand, though, they are still regarded as some of the most powerful people in the country, and it is thought that they should not weigh in on such things. Voting one way or another might have the effect of swinging the public's opinion in one direction or the next. It is not the royals' family intention to do this, so they simply do not allow members of the family to vote. Number 6, they cannot hold political office. Now, number 6 on our list goes hand in hand with number 7, and that it all applies to politics here. The royal family are some of the people in the UK with the highest standing amongst public figures, and therefore it would be, of course, dangerous for them to be allowed to hold a political office. The reason for this is that they say, for example, Prince William was to be in charge of a political office with even the smallest amount of power, then the fear is that he would be able to use his popularity and power to sway public opinion in either this this favor or the favor of one of his friends. The other politicians may think that it was in their favor to vote his way simply because he has a royal background. That would not be fair politics at all. But then again, when has politics ever been fair? That type of unfair politics was fairly popular way back in the earliest days of the English monarchy, so we guess these laws were brought in to ensure that it could not ever happen again. Good thinking. Number 5. No shellfish for the royal family. Imagine you were a member of the royal family and you had the same status and power and money. We'll give you a moment with that beautiful thought. Now, even if you had all of that, we have already shown you 5 rules that you will need to adhere to at all times, and here are another 5. In at number 5 is one that not all members of the family are too happy about: the no shellfish rule. There are of course those members that feel like breaking this rule from time to time, and so you will find the odd picture of one of them digging into a nice lobster or crab. But why they have the rule in the first place? Well, let's tell you. The rule began as a general health guideline way back in the days that the monarchy began, and was put in place to stop royal family members from getting food poisoning. Back then it was particularly bad and would be carried in various types of shellfish. It is thought that the only person who still avidly lives by this rule is Queen Elizabeth herself. Number 4. They cannot be Roman Catholic. At number 4 on our list of rules that royals must follow, we have another one that is based on old traditions. Nowadays, the world has changed drastically in so many ways, but one of the old faithful that never really changes is religion. It's been the same more or less for hundreds of years. Religion has its reasons for doing so, as well as having their own laws that must be followed. Still, the books from way back when are the archaic law that says that a member of the royal family cannot be Roman Catholic. It used to be that they could not even marry a person who was Roman Catholic, but that part of the law was changed in 2011, allowing them to marry someone of any faith. Royal family members, however, must be in communion with the Church of England. The law had remained unchanged for over 300 years and was put into place to stop the Catholic King James II and his descendants from ascending to the throne in 1688 during the time of the Glorious Revolution. Number 3. They must keep at least 6 ravens at the Tower of London. Now, as far as superstitions go, there are still a fair few that seem to lead parts of the royal family's lives even today. The historic castle located on the north bank of the River Thames in London is more commonly known as the Tower of London, but it was known way before that by its official name, Her Majesty's Royal Palace and Fortress of the Tower of London. This was an auspicious place where they not only held prisoners, but also held public executions, and now it is part-time home to the crown jewels. Even here, though they have rules that date back as far as the building does, an age-old legend states that if ravens leave the tower, then the kingdom will fall. The saying is regarding the minimum number of ravens that must live at the castle grounds at all times. When 2 of the 8 that were living there were killed by foxes in 2013, they were left with only 6, which is the minimum number allowed according to the old saying. They have since refilled those numbers in hope of never having to find out if the legend is true or not. Number 2. They have to enter and be seated in the correct order. With something as strict and as serious as the royal family, there is pretty much no situation that you can enter into without taking into account the traditions, norms, and etiquette standards that are to be respected in that moment. This stretches as far and wide as how you eat or what type of hat you may wear to certain social functions. It definitely matters when you are deciding who enters a room and who is seated first at any social function. So if you thought that seating at a wedding was strict, it has nothing compared to the rules that the royals must follow. Whenever there is a procession, like a wedding, the royals have to enter in a certain order. This order shows who is most important and begins with whoever is the reigning monarch, and then the next to follow would be the next in line for the throne. This is apparently one of the most strict rules that they have and must be followed at all costs. Number 1. They cannot eat after the queen has finished eating. The cream of the crop when it comes to rules that the royal family members must follow, this is it. Number 1 on our list has to be the fact that no matter who you are, if you are a member of the royal family, then you will stop eating the moment that the queen sets her knife and fork down on her plate. plate. To eat after she has finished is definitely against the rules. Basically, you are expected to follow her lead. After all, she is the queen. So when she sits, then you are allowed to sit. If she stands, then you are expected to do the same. If she starts eating, then you are permitted to begin your own meal. But if she stops, then it really does not matter how hungry you might be, you too have to stop. Although it has been said that if you are having dinner with the queen, we doubt you know what being hungry actually feels like. Attention Daily Top Teners! We have breaking news. A new channel alert. The most entertaining channel on YouTube is finally here, and they are giving away free iPhone 10s. All you have to do is subscribe to Come Along to Win. It's full of super exciting cool facts, riddles, life hacks, and mysteries to keep you entertained. But don't take my word for it. Click on the screen now to see the latest video, or click the round yellow sun looking button and subscribe now. Link is also in the description. See you all there.